What is up, Endgame community? I'm Pierre, back to help you with fantasy baseball drafts for 2022. Talking about shortstops, I'm going to give you my top 12 at the position in terms of draft rankings to let you know how you should value these players. All right, so let's start with number one. Who is number one? Well, you know these days a shortstop is very often in play for the top player in fantasy. That's no different this year. So here's the question. Is it Trey Turner? Is it Fernando Tatis Jr.? Well, I could just say, go watch my video on who's number one. I broke this down, talk about all the candidates. I'll spoil it for you because you're just going to go watch that video anyways. Well, I explain my thinking, but for me, it's Tatis. Look, between the two, there's no wrong answer here. Turner is going to give you the advantage in terms of batting average and a little bit of an advantage in steals. Obviously, he's going to be the safer player in terms of not having those injury questions like Tatis does. But Tatis, assuming everything's the same in terms of playing time, he's going to give you the advantage for sure in home runs and in RBIs and in runs scored. So if you're okay taking that risk and assuming the shoulder is going to be fine, Tatis is the guy. And look, I'm not going to make my draft decisions based on projecting health issues. If Tatis is good to go to start the season, I think you've got to pull the trigger on him. Now, number two, Trey Turner. Well, you want more information on him? You can also check out the second base rankings video because you're probably not even going to use him as a shortstop because that second base position is thinner and he does qualify there. He's going to play second base there this year. So check out that video and I'll explain why he's the number one second baseman. Now, you know how deep shortstop is? Right behind those two at number three is a guy who's absolutely in play as a top 5 fantasy pick this year. And that is Bo Bichette, another legacy player. So Bichette in that Toronto Blue Jays lineup, you know, is still loaded, even though Marcus Semien is gone. It doesn't matter. That is going to be one of the best lineups in the league. So he's somebody who helps you in every category, has everything that you've talked about with Turner and Tatis. He actually had a better batting average than Tatis. He had more home runs and RBIs than Trey Turner last year. The stolen bases are about the same, and his run scoring was higher than both. 121 runs scored, in fact, was the second highest in the majors, only behind teammate Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So you could almost make an argument he could be higher than those two, except he's a younger player. He doesn't have the track record. And, you know, there are some concerns, very slight concerns. Well, the plate discipline, he just doesn't walk at all. He chases a few too many pitches. You know, we could see a drop in his BABIP and maybe lead to some batting average sink. I'm not too worried. This is a guy who has plenty of speed. He can outrun those grounders. I don't think that he's a guy who got by too much on luck. So Bichette, I don't think you can put him over Turner or Tatis, but he is a very firm number 3 and absolutely a first round pick. All right, number 4, guy who not too long ago was number 1 on this list. Let's talk about Frankie Lindor. Mets fans probably don't think he belongs this high. Look, it was a down year for him, for the team, adjusting to the Big Apple. Well, it does take time for some players, and I think he'll bounce back. Look, maybe we won't see what we did from him in Cleveland, but look, ATC, that is Ariel Cohen's projections that are available on Fangraphs. They project him for 26 home runs and 14 steals, along with 91 runs scored. That's pretty good, all right? That's a pretty decent pace. He did still manage to hit 20 home runs, still 10 bases last year, so it's not like he was a total bust. Mostly, all right, especially compared to where he was drafted. But still, I think he'll bounce back. This whole team, the offense will get better with the additions they made of Marte and Mark Canha. So I don't think we can ever elevate him back to that top 3 status. But number 4, I feel pretty comfortable putting him there. Then at 5, we got Tim Anderson. You know what you're getting, and that is a good thing. This is a guy who's hit over 300 for 3 straight seasons. He keeps doing it. He's proven he knows how to hit the ball. And at least 15 steals in every full season since his rookie year. He's going to get you speed, and of course he can flirt with 20 home runs. He kind of helps in every category. The problem is we know 20 home runs is kind of his ceiling. 20 steals is probably his ceiling. But again, when he helps you that much in batting average, and we know he's still going to score a ton of runs, I don't mind the across-the-board contributions because I know what I'm getting, even if neither of those categories are going to be, let's say, league winners in and of themselves. But Tim Anderson probably got the highest floor out of all the guys I'm going to mention in this video, so I got him number 5. Number 6, another reliable player, that is Xander Bogaerts, an RBI machine, still going to probably slot in third in that Boston lineup. So his RBI total was down last year, 79. That's low for him, especially from a couple years ago in 2019 when he was among the league leaders. I don't think it's a problem. There's no reason to worry about Bogaerts. And the best thing about him, talk about a high floor, he never gets hurt. You know, it's a guy who's always going to be out there. You know what you're getting with him, and that's a good thing. Solid average, solid counting stats. So the speed quite isn't there, but that's okay because there's something to be said for consistency and reliability. So right now I got Bogaerts number 6. All right, we're down to number 7, and we're just now talking about the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. That is Wander Franco of the Tampa Bay Rays. So look, I would love to put him higher, but here's the thing. This is a guy that even though last year he had that epic on-base streak, 43 games in a row, you know, putting him in Hall of Fame company already, 80 grade, hit tool, 80 future value, absolute superstar in the making. Why can't we put him higher? He just turned 21. In fact, as the time I'm recording this, he's not even able to legally buy himself a drink. So look, age, you can say it ain't nothing but a number. It does matter. It's going to take some time for him to really grow into his power. And the problem also, even though he's got good speed, he's not really a base stealer. In his brief time in the minors, he really didn't run that much. And he got caught quite a bit, so he's not a natural base stealer. It's going to take him some time, but I don't even think they're going to use him that way. So he isn't going to get you the stolen bases as some of the other guys in my top 5. And the power, I think he'll be okay, but it's not quite there yet. So what you're going to get from him is average and a lot of runs scored. But right now, this year, that's about it. So I can only put him at number 7. And it's hard to believe that after the season Marcus Semien had, he's all the way at number 8 in this position. That tells you how deep shortstop is. Now, let me also say, I'm not going to talk too much about him because really you're playing him, it's at second base. I mentioned him in my second base rankings video, so go back and check that out. So I do expect a little bit of regression from him in terms of the home runs going to go down being in Texas. But again, number 8, I think that's actually maybe a little conservative for him, but it's for a reason. All right, now Semien's new double play partner in Texas is Corey Seager, a guy that you know very well from his time with the Dodgers. He's going to be known as a lifelong Ranger, 10-year deal. That's right, 10 years he's going to be with the Rangers, assuming everything goes as planned. So this is a guy who's a .297 career hitter. That's pretty good. We know he's got good power. The only problem is no speed to speak of there. So that's what you're getting with Seager. Also, there have been some injury concerns as far as he's missed a lot of time the last couple years. Obviously, the Rangers weren't too worried about that, so maybe we shouldn't be either. But injury history should at least be a consideration. Again, Seager, a guy that you can feel fairly good about. I don't know if he's going to produce quite as high as he did in his Dodger days, just because not quite the same lineup, but still, I think Seager is a solid pick if you're going to wait at shortstop. All right, number 10 at shortstop, a guy who formerly was the lead of the position. I keep dropping Trevor Story down. Look, we know he's not going to play in Colorado next year. Where will he play? I don't know, but maybe it doesn't matter because it's not Colorado. That will definitely affect him. This is somebody who, yeah, he's got the power speed combo, but again, not going to be the same as it was the glory days of the Rockies. I don't know how big a difference it makes for him in terms of which park he's going to play in. He is still going to give you upside in homers and steals, but I do feel like the batting average continues to decline just a little bit. I'm worried about his transition. Maybe I'm a little too worried, I don't know, but I can't put him over those players I've already mentioned. So right now I'm kind of keeping him here as a fallback at the position number 10. Number 11, a guy who also qualifies at both second base and shortstop. Talked about him a lot more in my second base video, so I'll just quickly mention I love Jazz Chisholm Jr., but not enough to put him over those players, even the ones I have some concerns with. So right now, as far as shortstop rankings go, he is 11th. And number 12 is Carlos Correa, also free agent, still to be determined where he plays. So we know what he brings to the table. Again, that is power galore. The speed isn't there, and that's why he can't be much higher. I think he does have a lot of contingency in terms of his fantasy value as far as his landing spot, because I don't know if he's ever going to go to a spot that is good as that Astros lineup has been the last couple of years. So we'll see what happens. I think he's a pretty good fallback, though, at this position, because at the very least, you got 30 homer upside. He can drive in a ton of runs. coming off a pretty strong season himself and still in his prime. So number 12 at shortstop, you're not going to be too bad off if you end up with Carlos Correa. All right, that does it for shortstop. Don't forget to check out the rest of our rankings and all our fantasy baseball videos here at the end game. Again, our goal is to try to help you win. We'll do that all off season and during the season as well. All right, thanks for watching.